What's up, family? Get this video a big thumbs up if you get some value from this video. So today we're going to dive into the issue that reveals the extent of government dysfunction in California, a state with immense potential yet plagued by mismanagement. It's tragic that it often takes a crisis for people to wake up. But when disaster strikes, those who were once indifferent start asking tough questions. And now the spotlight is firmly on Governor Gavin Newsom. As more details come to light, the situation is unraveling fast, exposing years of broken promises and gross negligence or negligence. Sorry, I can't never get that word right. Excuse me. However, let's get into it and let's have a conversation, folks. So Gavin Newsom finds himself at the epicenter of yet another scandal, this time related to California's water infrastructure or lack thereof. The narrative spun by his defenders is beginning to crumble under scrutiny. Many have rushed to blame droughts or climate change, but the real story is more damning. Systematic mismanagement and unfulfilled promises. Let's set the record straight, though. California isn't devoid of water. The issues lie in how the state handles its resources. For example, as you guys see on the article, you guys see the tweet. It says, 1 year ago, Los Angeles experienced record-setting historic rains. Yet the reservoirs about Pacific Palisades are completely empty. In 2024, California passed Proposition 1, authorizing building new reservoirs for water retention. A decade later, none have been built. This is someone's fault, as you guys see. So you guys heard that, right? So why? Because the infrastructure to store water during heavy rains hasn't been built, despite billions in taxpayer funding and voter-approved initiatives. You know what I'm saying? So when you really think about it, in 2014, California voters passed Proposition 1, allocating billions of dollars for new reservoirs and improved water retention systems. You fast forward nearly a decade, and not a single new reservoir has been constructed. This isn't just negligence, it's betrayal of public trust. The purpose of Proposition 1 was clear: to capture and store water during periods of heavy rain so the state could weather future droughts. Yet the funds allocated for this vital infrastructure seem to have disappeared in a black hole of bureaucracy and inefficiency, right? And unfortunately, this isn't an isolated incident, right? And as we see in Los Angeles Times, a reservoir in the Palisades that holds 116 million gallons of water was offline this month for previously scheduled maintenance. It was empty when the Palisades Fire exploded. So think about the pattern of mismanagement, right? Unfortunately, like I said, this isn't an isolated incident. California's history under Gavin Newsom is riddled with examples of wasted paying tax dollars. Take the $20 billion earmarked for solving the homelessness crisis, which has yielded negligible results, or the high-speed rail project, as you guys want to hear him talk about and boast about. Check it out.
I am sick and tired of hearing about how wonderful the transportation system is in France and Japan, and have you been to Shanghai, or do you know what they're doing in Beijing? Well, finally, California is going to get it right with this new high-speed rail, and that northern terminus will happen here. And this project, I am sick and tired of.
Well, there you guys heard him. He is sick and tired. But think about it. The high-speed rail project, a venture promised back in 2008 that remains a costly pipe dream. So now we're seeing the pattern with the water infrastructure. Instead of investing in reservoirs and other systems to secure the state's water supply, California's leadership seems content with empty promises and half-baked solutions. And it's crazy to me because recent reports and images, as you guys see, show this bone-dry reservoir during wildfire season. And not because there isn't water, but because it hasn't been captured. A 2022 article, as you guys will see, from 2022. I couldn't find an article, but I did find the video on YouTube in regards of the meteorologist talking about it. So a 2022 article, and this is the video from it, I should say, because I couldn't find the article in itself, from ABC 10, as you guys see the title of it. 2 years ago, a California drought, record rainfall needed to bust water supply crisis. Well, highlighted that California's groundwater storage systems could hold billions of acre feet of water, but the state has failed to develop these resources. Experts has long advocated for expanding underground water storage, which is more cost-effective and environmentally friendly, yet the state continues to neglect this approach, leaving Californians vulnerable to droughts, wildfires, and other climate-related challenges. But I want you guys not to hear it just from me. Check out what had been said.
Out more so than rain could in some instances.
The rain that we're experiencing helps a little bit to take the edge off. And I hope that people have turned off their sprinklers and let Mother Nature do the watering for them. However, lifting us out of the drought emergency would likely take record precipitation at this time, somewhere on the order of what it took us out of the last drought from 2012 to 2016. This year, the Sacramento region was fortunate that most of the rain and snow fell within our watershed. We made the most of that by banking water underground in the aquifer during the wet times this winter so that it was available for the dry times later on in the summer. We'll do more of that and utilize our groundwater aquifer, the reservoir you can't see but is under your feet, to get us through continued dry years. And residents will continue to play an important role by conserving water and stopping waste.
And that underground aquifer is key. Pfeiffer says we need to expand our utilization of underground water storage in California.
We are really interested in increasing underground storage to store water. That provides benefits to both Northern and Southern California, provides benefits to the environment, helps with our species, including salmon, which are going to be hit hard in the future by climate change and droughts and increasing temperatures. State of California, there's 50 million.
All right, you guys get the gist, man. But here's the kicker. The technology to capture and store rainwater isn't some futuristic invention. It exists and is already being used in other states and countries. And California's failure to implement it is a glaring example of poor governance, in my opinion. And articles from outlets like NPR have pointed out that during periods of heavy rain, much of the water is simply allowed to flow back into the ocean because the state lacks the infrastructure to store it. But don't take my word for it. It says, and this is back in 2023 from NPR, California is getting drenched. So why can't it save water for the drought? You want to know why? Boom. Some of it can be captured for later, but the short answer is it falls so quickly that we lack the ability to take the water and set it aside quickly enough in a place where we can store for later. Right? So imagine the absurdity of one of the world's largest economies relying on an outdated system while its leaders tout progressive policies, right? California isn't just a state. It's the fifth largest economy in the world with a massive tax base and substantial revenue. Yet the infrastructure doesn't reflect that wealth. Where is all the taxpayer money going? Why are voter-approved initiatives like Proposition 1 failing to deliver results? Critics online have speculated that isn't just incompetence, but a deliberate misallocation of funds. Billions are funneled into vanity projects and political agendas that have back pays that who knows of, while critical infrastructure is neglected. And the issue has far-reaching implications, people. Empty reservoirs meaning for more devastating wildfires, a greater strain on agriculture, and declining quality of life for millions of residents. California has the resources to solve these problems, but a lack of political will and accountability is holding the state back. Governor Newsom's leadership has been called into question repeatedly, and this water crisis is yet another indictment on his administration. And while other nations invest in cutting-edge transportation and infrastructure, California struggles to manage the basics. This is the reality under Gavin Newsom's leadership, in my opinion. A state with immense potential squandered by mismanagement and broken promises, folks. Californians deserve answers, and they deserve accountability. And most importantly, they deserve better. So as we watch this crisis unfold, let's not forget who's responsible. But also, we have to hold ourselves responsible, we the people, because we have elected these individuals, and that's why local legislators are important and who we elect, because it becomes our reality based on their decisions, even if it doesn't impact him. See, what about the million Californians that don't have nowhere to live, but you got Gavin Newsom's or Newscum or whatever you want to call him? He can go wherever and run to safety. So let's not forget who's responsible from both ends, because I'm thinking objective here. And it's time to vote. It's time for voters, I should say, to demand real change and hold these leaders accountable for decades of negligence. But stay tuned for more updates, folks. And as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hard-hitting analysis. I know family. Peace.